Joe Vardon of The Athletic joins us right now. He's covering the series down there in Miami. Joe, what do you do on your day off down in Miami to keep yourself
Well, let's see. I mean, the weather down here has not been great.
Mm-hmm.
You got the South Florida showers, sure, but it's been pretty tough. Like, it's been thunderstorms and whatnot. So, with all this flying back and forth and playoffs been going on for 2 months. Just try to take a little nap maybe, and then recharge for. You might run into a nightclub or two on South Beach. You might. I'm not saying you would for sure. But, we find things to do in our spare time.
Ooh, hey, Liv, look at this.
Just on Sunday.
Just having to run into Liv. I like that. Hey, you know what? The clubs are inside, bro, unless you're like Jason and they open the windows when the rain is coming or whatnot. I don't know. Hey, let's talk about the series, man. I read your article yesterday, your column yesterday in The Athletic, talking about Tyler Herro not being available for Game 4. I think they need him. Obviously, a 20-point game was score, but they've gotten to the NBA Finals without him. You mentioned that it might be good to activate him anyway. Why do you feel that way?
Yeah, because especially, the Heat, with the two players we're talking about here, in Gabe Vincent and Kyle Lowry, they both are a little susceptible to ankle injuries. And in this situation, Tyler would be a perfect, I guess, insurance policy in case something like that happens. And, Kyle turned his ankle at the end of Game 3. He's okay, but it's that close. And that would be a scenario where you could find some minutes for Tyler Herro. And you can't do it if he's wearing a bucket hat and hanging out on the bench, not on the active list. So I think they should do it. It's hard. It's really hard to just reincorporate him into a rotation for this series when, he was their starter and their second leading scorer, for most of the year. And now they're playing in a totally different way than they play with him. And I'm not sure where his minutes come from, but like I said, one injury at the wrong time to either of those two guards, and all of a sudden you really need him.
But to that point, you just mentioned they've gotten this far without him, and they're playing a totally different style right now. Would it do more harm than good to bring him back into the fold if he were even healthy because of the way they're playing and the pace they're playing at right now? And you don't know what you're going to get out of Tyler Herro right now.
Well, that's right. That's definitely right. You don't know. It's hard to take 6 weeks off or whatever it's been, and then you come back and you're in the middle of an NBA Finals. That is way different than coming back for a regular season game in February. The discussion about are they better without him, you want to be fair to everybody involved, but the truth is they are a better defensive team when he's not on the court. Mm-hmm. And that is largely how they've gotten here. And it's just the flow, the way they've been playing, the way they went from the 8th seed to the best team in the East. That's what happened. And so it's hard to change, to go away from how they did that. And, I don't think they would. And I don't know that they want to. But, you still feel bad for a guy like Tyler, and the Heat gave him a ton of money. You want as much out of him as you can, but that's not the situation.
And defense is exactly what they need right now to try and stop that dynamic duo of Jamal Murray and, of course, Nikola Jokic right now. 30-point triple-doubles out of both of them in the last game. Never been seen in any NBA game in history of the game. What are we witnessing right now? You're seeing it up close and personal. What are we witnessing right now?
Well, on the lighter side, the Jokic 30-20-10 triple-double, which we've never seen in a finals game. He's actually done that 3 times in these playoffs, I think. But we've never seen that in a finals game, and you're watching it in real time like, wow, this is insane. This is an utterly dominant performance. And then, they take him out, and the Nuggets are up 15. and Jamal is still out there, and there's another bucket, there's a foul shot. Now he's over 30 points. And then with 9 seconds left, they're up 15. He gets the last rebound of the game. All of a sudden now he has a triple-double. And it's like, so now this is literally something that has never happened in any game ever, and you didn't really see it coming because some of the rebounds and a couple of the points were at the end of almost garbage time. But to the broader point, like, you have these two guys who are playing in their first finals. They're playing together, and they are performing better than most people ever have in their first 3 finals games. And I made this comparison earlier in the series that the Heat, the way they talk about having to defend the Nuggets is the way the Cavs used to talk about defending the Warriors. Now, I know it's different. I know the personnel is different. But when you talk about the amount of pressure that the Nuggets put on you, it is very similar to what the Cavs used to say. Like, it's so complex and it's so difficult to figure out how to just even get in Jokic's way. And that's what the Heat are trying to do here.
Senior NBA writer for The Athletic, Joe Vardon, joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show. Mike Hill filled in for Rich today. It seems like it's going to come down to the role players for both of these teams, for the Heat and the Nuggets. Obviously, Bam and Jimmy are going to get theirs. And, of course, we talk about Murray and Jokic. Is there concern from both sides when it comes to Michael Porter Jr. For Denver and anybody stepping up for the Miami Heat, for both sides to get the others more involved in the basketball game?
No, I don't think so. I would I know what you mean with Michael Porter Jr. After a really nice game 1, he has not been good. He has not been good in games 2 or 3. And then you talk about Aaron Gordon, and he was awesome at the beginning of game 1, and then not much of an impact in 2, and a little better in 3. But the Nuggets have enough, and then you have Jokic and Murray who are so dominant that they can be the drivers. When I think about the Heat, there's a couple points I want to make. One, Jimmy has not played well yet in this series. He was their leading scorer in Game 3, but he was 11 of 24 shooting, and that was about 20 minutes after saying, well, I'm not a volume shooter and I'm not a scorer. And he kind of went out and tried to take control and couldn't. So they need him to be the playoff Jimmy that we know. But the other point I want to make is we talk about the Heat, and they have undrafted players, and so this is all a surprise, and role player this and role player that. I think we underestimate or undervalue the actual talent on that team. Like, Gabe Vincent is talented.
Yes.
He is a legitimate NBA player. Max Strus is the same thing. He's a little bit streaky, fine, but he's a two-way player and can be a 40% three-point shooter. Obviously Kyle Lowry is a former champion and a former All-Star, and just on down the line. So I like both teams. I like the series. We say that the Nuggets are favored because they've been better all year and they have the best player. But, I mean, I don't think this is a series where one team says, Eureka, we figured the other side out. I think it's more like both teams play their style and hope that they can sort of will themselves through in the series.
Yeah, well, Vince has got to stay out of foul trouble, and Strus has got to get off to a better start like he did in Game 2, and maybe the Miami even this season series up at 2 apiece. You talked about Jimmy. You said can't. We talked about that in the first segment. He hasn't been playoff Jimmy since he rolled his ankle in Game 1 against the New York Knicks in that series. Is there a concern there when it comes to the injury? What's going on, in your opinion, or for what you're hearing about Jimmy Butler not being playoff Jimmy, the player we're used to seeing?
Well, that's a good point. And if I'm being honest, I sometimes forget about the ankle injury from Game 1 just because it was so long ago. Mm-hmm. He didn't miss. I don't think he missed time. I can't remember if he missed Game 2 or not. But he's been all hands on deck since. And the discussion has been that he doesn't seem to have that lift. He doesn't seem to have that burst. He hasn't been great getting to the rim and playing at the rim. And so all of those things would either lead to a sore ankle or just general fatigue. He says that he is playing the game the right way and being a good teammate and passing to the open guy. Spoelstra says he's playing defense at a caliber level. So I think somewhere in all there is the in all that is the actual truth. He just doesn't look like, even in Game 1 against the Celtics when he had 35. I mean, that was the closest he's looked to playoff Jimmy in a while. Mm-hmm. But you can't make the point. You cannot try to compare what he looks like right now to that first series against Milwaukee when he shocked all of the NBA by leading the stunning upset. And that is the playoff Jimmy we know.
All right, so what we're going to see tonight?
I mean, I keep saying it. I keep saying, well, the Heat have won this game, and they're winning these games like previously without playoff Jimmy, and so that gives you a chance to take one with him. So I'm going to say we get him, that he's going to have a big night tonight. And,
And the Heat, even the series? So you think the Heat evens the series tonight? Okay.
I like this. I like the Heat tonight. I like a 2-2 series going back to Denver.
Yeah, and then it's a 2-2 series, and that ensures you get a Game 6 back in Miami, so you can run into a club if you happen to be there. If you just happen to run into it. I like how you said that, right? Like I just happen to run into a club or whatever. That's pretty cool. I like that. Joe Vardon of The Athletic, man. Enjoy Game 4 tonight, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Good to talk. Yep.
All right.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.